สวัสดีครับ Hello there. We meet again. I'm Chef Pan at ThaiAccent.com. I'm a chef instructor, cookbook author, and a former restaurant owner. Today the lecture is number 4 and the topic is food safety. So I will talk about the fat thumb. This is if you in the food industry, you know what a fat thumb is. If you don't, you will learn today. And then how understand the pH because everything you do is the pH. That means the concentration of the water in the food. And then we do the stir fry, deep fry, pan fry, grill, barbecue, bake, those kind of things. And then the TSC, the food that you ready to eat, and potential hazardous of food, and the FDA safety rule, and the big 8 allergy, the procurement of the ingredients. So this is what the topic today. So hopefully you learn something from these sessions. Open up your mind, you will learn. You will grab a lot of things because this is everything here is practical point of view. Okay, here we go. Food safety awareness and acknowledgement. Okay, this is what they call fat thumb. Fat thumb it means you got food, you got acid, you got time, temperature, oxygen, and moisture. This is very important when the food it can go bad because of the factor of all these 6 factors. So we will give you the example before we go that. So this is that the food safety that means is certain temperature the food will get bad and the bacteria will grow real fast. Let's take a look at this. This is a thermometer, right? If this is a bacteria go between 41 degree to 140 degree along this area, that means when you let the food out in the ambient temperature, this is the bacteria start growing when the temperature above 41, 42 degree. So the hotter it gets, the faster it goes. By the time it hits 70 degree, now the bacteria is double, faster and faster and faster. If you go beyond 100, 110 degrees to, that where the bacteria start real fast, and then your food can poison real, real quick, went bad real quick. This is all the length, the temperature, what we talking about, the temperature where the bacteria go. Let's see, the food that high protein like chicken. We're going to take the chicken for example today. Chicken, in the chicken they have some acids inside the chicken, like you smell sulfur. Sometimes you smell like rotten egg. That's what it's all about. And then the time, how long you take it out, and the temperature, what temperature you talk about here, and the time, how long will it take, and then the oxygen. In order to get the bacteria to go like this one, you got to have the oxygen. That means if your packet is broken, the seal is broke. That means the oxygen can penetrate into the system. That what is oxygen and moisture, and the more it go, the more because the oxygen going to, the moisture and the oxygen going to create the bacteria pretty much. So it's food. It's a high protein, like then acidic, less than pH less than 4.5. We're going to talk about pH in the next session. So just remember the 4.5 pH is acidic. And if beyond that you become neutral and become the base, you got like acid and base, those kind of thing. The pH in the middle, normal pH is in the middle, and then the time, it have to be less than 4 hours. It's more than 4 hours, then everything, the bacteria, everything else start growing, even though you in the room temperature. In Thailand, it's very hotter. That means your time is shorter. In California, where I am, it's not too many days. The hot day, pretty much for less than 4 hours, you be good. So if more than that, you have to put it back in the refrigerator, those kind of things, or you can prep it real quick. Don't let it sit so far, so high. And the temperature that we talk about, the range of temperature, 41 to 135. This is where the bacteria go, the temperature that what do you call, can cause the problem. And oxygen is bacteria production, and the moisture greater than 8.5, that means you have the moisture inside that, the accumulation, and then you inside the packet, then you can create, the food poisoning faster than anything, because the more moisture content, the more problem you can get. That's the fat term. That is all the standard food handling. People have to know what it is. Like, so for example, you have the package you buy at the supermarket. The supermarket have good maintained temperature, but if you see some like a ice thing in there, how rotten food in there, that's what it's caused by time and temperature abuse. So we will go through that. So let's go to the next slide. So this is a pH. pH meaning, like pH 1 is the same to this water. Is everything is neutral. So have an equal balance of the ion. You have oxygen and hydrogen. You produce hydrogen oxide, and then you have oxygen, those type of things. This is a simulation. It's if you have acidic, so meaning you have more hydrogen in the system. Alkaline, that means you have hydrogen oxide in the system, is more than that. If you are neutral, everything is equal. So this is where how the thing go equal. Go this is the important acids. It go up, the pH go up, start alkaline, but they are the length that you can in food industry not go beyond 14 or beyond pH. We will go from that, but to get you to understand it, the potential hydrogen oxide. So that what it can cause a lot of things and a lot of chemistry. You don't have to know much, just to know the acids, natural and alkaline. Okay, acidic, natural, and alkaline. So we will go to the next slide. In the next slide, we tell you more effect of it. If you in the pure water here at pH 7, the higher you go, like seawater, the baking soda, the salt, that is something that you still can eat. If you go to the acid side, saliva, urine, but some people drink urine, but for whatever reason, for their medical belief, but I don't think so. The saliva, soft drink, cold coffee, tomato juice, orange vinegar, and then when you go to hydrofluoric acid or battery acid, that you can't do anything that much. The further you go, it's vinegar. So, and the alkali, it pretty much contains food, not legume or vegetable. It's called alkalosis or acidosis. This is acid. It have in meat, poultry, fish, dairy, those kind of thing. And then the neutral, pretty much you have like starch, sugar, those kind of thing that the pH 7 is neutral. So, and this is what they talk about, the symptom of alkalosis. It's confusion, lightheaded, those kind of thing. So many things going on that you can lead to it. You Google it and you can lead what effect in there. If you get some kind of twitching in your eye, maybe you have too much of these or you don't have enough those. It depends on what your body is, but this is for you to understand that everything the pH is have to do with the food, and then we to go through that again. Okay, you got headache, light, confusion. This is pretty much almost similar, but not the opposite. But it's a lot more. If you go to the acid, you got more problems like vomiting, nausea, this kind of thing. So just to know the pH it affects your food, your body. So if suppose you have the body that when you eat something in there, you know, is you go to upper stomach, lower stomach, you go by the part to your body, everything have maintained by the pH, you know, by in your stomach 4 to 6.5 pH, you know, take about 30 minutes to 60 minutes, that kind of thing. So this is come from pharmacy in universe. So is a lot of things going on in your body because it in order to do a lot of the food thing, they have to measure by the pH. And the pH, it can translate to so many fruit charts that it had it in there. You pH 10, like a high alkali, you got like a raw broccoli, cauliflower, that kind of thing. This thing you can Google it. It's everywhere now. Everybody write about it. So if you go lower, like a pH 3, that kind of, you know, you got low pH, but you got like from pork, meat, lambs, you know, and I don't know why it's in there. But I have no idea. This is come from, you know, the chart that relate to the pH. So you see a lot of things going on in here. You know, the pH will tell you what you do, what not to do, and to balancing your chemicals. You know, pH. When you eat something, you have a high pH. Then what we're going to do? You're going to eat something that more neutral or some more acidic to, you know, like a yin and yang to pull up and down to maintain your body temperature, to maintain your physical to be stronger. This is like I would go real fast. A lot of people don't get this. So TSC food, the TSC food, that food is really to eat. This is a lot of things that you have to be aware of food. This is it requires temperature, time and temperature control. Because when you go to a restaurant, before you serve the food, you know, like if the hot food you didn't keep in certain temperature, you can't serve the food because it become poisoning. That let's do the TSC first. You have tofu, you have meat, you know, milk. There's something that got rotten with rice, especially the cooked rice. If you leave it in the room temperature for 2-3 days, you start smelling. You know that one it gets bad so fast. That's why it like a temperature time abuse. Those kind of things. This is slight watermelon is the same thing. The poultry, chicken, if somebody have, you know, shellfish problem. You know, shellfish can go faster than anything else too. So for me, from my experience, these two things that go bad fast. It's a spout, the same thing, take it out, you got some problem. Even though you put it in the refrigerator, it doesn't stay that long. So we get rotten fast. But this is THC, that means you're ready to eat. Just be careful with all that. This is the soy protein that it like they use the soy product to make like a hamburger, you know, like a no meat, vegetarian, whatever it is. That be careful. Baked potatoes is the same thing. They can cut rotten real quick. So we're going to go to the next one that's talking about, you know, pathogen. The pathogen, this is more common. This thing is the E. coli. E. coli because it's the beef products that can be in water, can be in anything, and norovirus. This is another one. The food in shellfish it gives you really good diarrhea here. Salmonella in egg. This all a lot of common, you know, shellfish that have either salmonella or white blood, those kind of thing. Just study a little bit about it. Just be aware of it. That's why you have to buy something fresh and don't keep them too long. If you can cook them within a day or two, you should be good. If you go beyond that, then you have to be careful. This thing can be developed, or you already buy, you don't see it, you don't know it, and you eat it, and then that's what the problem is. So, like, look at the chicken. If you see the chicken like this in store, who you buy it? Hell no, you don't. The same thing the meat. Because the color start changing. If more like a bacteria get ready to go, or you leave it after a long time, you see the fish. If the eye not clear, and then you start seeing skin changing color, and it starts to have a little bit smell, don't buy it. Just get it, go somewhere else and buy something else. So other thing else, you know, poultry, raw meal, it doesn't come by easily because you have the PD detect very good. They have the system that implement it, prevent it. But still, all the red thing here is still come out. So no matter what you do, it will come out. All the thing you have to do, protect yourself to make sure to study a little bit to well. You see this kind of chicken is temperature bill is not too good. Maybe they leave freeze it so many times. So that's the problem. When they're selling for cheap. Cheap food, it doesn't mean safe. Just remember that. So the FDA food safety rule, this is so many things talking about. You talk about the temperature. Usually they talk temperature when you cook them. The other one we just talk about fresh. This one we talk about cook. The cook, it have to do it. They have the measure in the internal temperature, not the ambient temperature or surface temperature. The internal temperature. So like beef, veal, lamb, whatever you cook, the inside temperature have to be 145 degrees in order to serve to people. If less than that, the medium rare, okay, you serve it at home. You can eat whatever you want to eat because you have the problem with yours. So in the restaurant, we can't do that. So you have to follow by thing you poke the temperature in there, and you have to leave for at least 3 minutes to see, if the temperature constantly in 145 around that, then you'll be okay. If you 122 degree or less, or 145 or less, the temperature dropping further out, that you can have problem. This is during you cooking, not after you come and take a set. During the set cooking, still in the oven, those kind of thing. And then like this is all you go to FDA food safety rule. We have it in there, so you can go through it like the thing that the thing that they don't have the temperature degree of temperature to check, because the egg is flat, it's formed. They cannot take the temperature inside. So what they do, they cook. They come up with a cook until the yolk and the white are firm. That means they don't want the running water. But a lot of people like to eat egg, the breakfast. They like running eggs, that it at home you're okay, but in the restaurant you don't want to do that because that can cause problem. So, and if you have the egg dish, you put the egg in there, you have to cook, 160 degrees, when you check the temperature inside the temperature, that's what it is. And the fin fish, and then this is a lot of trim lobster, all these things, they cannot take the temperature. What they do, they rely on the color, the opaque, the color is cloudy, turn a little bit white, those kind of thing. And that's what it's all about. This come from FDA. You can learn a little bit and put that chart in your house. It will be useful for you to what to do, what not to do, and how to be safe when you cook the food. So that now we do cold, now we do refrigerator. When you refrigerate the thing, you can do like either cold or hotter, the hotter air inside your thing is pretty much where you say it's cooler because the cool come from here and falling down. And this air is your temperature, your refrigerator not efficient, you're going to get this one hotter than that. This one hotter, this one a little bit cooler, a little bit cooler, a little bit cooler. And they have, fish protein. We go to the next one, but this one I was talking about, when you store your food, this is nicely, and this is the supremo version. The people who take care of food, make sure everything is in the package. That's what you're supposed to do. But you are the man cave version. That's what everything you shove it in there. No airflow. More of the time you get the rotten food in there. So that's not good. So the practical setting temperature in your refrigerator, I mean, you set 36 if your refrigerator your refrigerator efficient, it will stay there. But if not, you should have another temperature, the thermometer hanging in there and see. Usually I hang the top one and the bottom one and see what the temperature is still there. Maintain. Sometimes this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool, or this is going to be hotter at all the time after, because they need the airflow. They need the temperature, cool temperature is falling down. So the temperature you should set about 36 to 39. But in my version, I use 37. The 37 is cover a lot of things that, my foods last a little bit longer, like a week longer when I put something in there. Because if you go to 38, 39, it seems to be, it's getting hotter faster, and your food can get the food poisoning easier. I mean, get rotten easier. And this is the can that usually canned fruit like that, you don't want to put it in the refrigerator. If you're not open, don't put it in there. When you open, you put it in there. But a lot of people want to be safe, they pour it out and put it in the plastic container and keep it there. If you put it in with the can, you have to cover it with the saran wrap. But better not to do it, because it's not good for you, because they have a preservative. All these things have preservative in there, and they have a chemical reactions, and then they generate something that you don't know, and then you eat it. So be aware of that. About food safety zone, so that the rule is to keep hot food hot that is above 145 degrees. That be out of the range of the food poisoning, and keep the cool food cold. Keep the cold food cold. That means below 41 degrees. That means when you do refrigerator up above, you have to do the food warmer. That when you're talking about the food warmer, if you put it in oven, is your oven good? You set it 170 degrees Fahrenheit, and you put your hot food in there. If you go beyond that, it will start cooking. If you go lower than that, the food gets cold. 170 degrees, that's the standard. If you keep your food warm and not continue cooking, okay? If you use a warm water bath, your water have to be 180 degrees Fahrenheit. You see, when you go to several places and they serve the food, they have a sharp lid, but they have to maintain. They have a sharp lid. They have, have the fire underneath. That they have to maintain 180 degrees Fahrenheit. And when you prepping the food, so the temperature from 41 degree, above 41 degree to 70 degree, that's the good temperature for you to prep. It go lower than that, you can't prep. It's hot. It's cold. You can touch it very well, because your finger will get cold. If you go hotter than 70 degree, that means you start sweating, all those kind of thing, and the food become deteriorating because of the temperature, getting hot, the time problem. So if hot food, the cool, the hot food, you know, from, you know, cool hot food, it usually take about 2 hours. The people just sit or let it sit, those kind of thing. And but if you go to take it down from, 160 degree, those kind of thing, because yeah, they have a step on it. I don't know where I put that information because when I talk, people don't understand. I think it's somewhere there. If I do, they have the step to come down, like 140 to 70 for how many minutes, that kind of thing. So I forget that one. It will come back again when they do the next session to see. So let's talk about food allergy. The food allergy, this is pretty much common in the U.S. People have allergy to milk, to egg, to fish, to shellfish, and tree nuts, peanut, wheat. And wheat, a lot of people have problem, and soy, a lot of people have problem too. You have to know in the ingredients. So do you have to contain, any of these? Some people, have a wheat gluten problem, and this one have gluten in there. But when you do, a lot of condiment have those kind of thing in there. But depend how much they put in there, they have to specify how much, how many. But in your system, how much can you take? So we don't know that. You have to go see the doctor. But a lot of people are just assuming, oh yeah, I have that, and then they don't eat it at all, and it's good. That's what it is. But you have to know, you know, what kind of thing that you have allergic to. You have to go to the doctor and have all taste all kinds of these. They will know what kind of thing you cannot eat. So just it is you and your doctor can decide that. So what the problem is. But a lot of people that just don't care, they just eat it because it's small amount each time. They don't care. It doesn't affect them that much. But some people do, some people don't. It depends on the people and the doctor. Just be aware of this is a allergies that when you try to cook for your friend and some friends say, oh, I have allergy to this or that. Don't be offensive, but that their defensive system different from yours. So you can avoid that or make another dish different, similar but a different ingredient, those kind of thing, to make your friend appreciate what you cook. Those kind of things. Just be aware of that. Then the food and vegetable cleaning method. This is what a lot of things. It come from the experience, so what you do and how well you document it. So a lot of people they use in the old time in Thailand they use borax. You take the water, you borax and shake around, cleaning with vegetable, and then people have more problem, and then the government say no, you can't do that, and then the people change to do something else. It's borax. You don't. This is the use commonly used when you have a water of mercury. You could take that thing and go round, 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 and then inside the jar, whatever the big bowl that you try to use that water, and the water become clear. So that's what they use it for. And then they use the vinegar to clean with it. They use, the baking soda. They peel it. They use another thing is potassium manganate. Those kind of thing that they clean water with it. And then you have the, man-made that they sell commercially. You can use that too. But the baking soda and the carbon, now in Thailand very popular with the carbon. What they use is they use the bamboo, and they make certain type of bamboo and they make that for the charcoal and they use that charcoal to soak in the water and that they clean the vegetable with. So and white vinegar, salt, vegetable wash, those kind of things. That's what they do. There's so many ways to do it. Depend whatever you can grab the hand on it. So you can use anything work equally for me. But for us, we just rinse it with water and soak it on water and pretty much a drop of the vinegar to do that. It's easier to, easy access and faster. Okay, just be aware of so many things that you can use, not just one thing. Just lean it with water, it should be good enough, but have to be running water too. You just have to run with the water. So you you have the cabbage, you have those kind of thing. You have to cut, you peel it out, and then you have to soak a little bit so to get all the imperfections and clean it out nicely, and then wash it again, and then that it should be good to clean enough. So now a lot of preservative, they have chemical and natural. The natural things is a lot of things going on in the preservative that you don't have to use the chemical, like sugar, honey, salt, lime. This is all natural preservative. Quinine and honey. This is a lot of things. That alcohol is another one that I do. It's a lot of preservative that what in Thai medicinal that we use alcohol to cook with it, preserve something, those kind of things. But I use alcohol for marinating to do marinating the food, the meat, those kind of thing. So it's a lot of things to do, like the lead lime, the lead lime stone. What you use is you put the water in this red lime in a big jar and use the lead lime to cook with, or to soak with the vegetable, to clean vegetable. It make vegetable it's more stronger, harder, like a seafood. You got more like a oyster, those kind of thing. They soak in this water, so it's like a preserve within itself, make the oyster a little bit firm, and then not slimy and firm. You can touch it easily, and then when you fry them, they get more crispy, more body instead of falling apart or runny juice, those kind of thing. It's a lot of technique that we use them, but usually when I do preservative, I used to do the natural preservative. But now they have a lot of these, rosemary extract or oregano extract. So I use from time to time, but not that much. Usually I do sugar, salt, honey, lime, this kind of thing. Everything that natural that I like to use them. So the one that have already man-made, is somewhat good, but for me, I don't use them that much at all. So just to let you know, they have it. So you can do a lot of things naturally without using, meat tenderizer or those kind of things, because it's all chemical. You don't want that. So the preservative and the process, this is the chemical that they use. It's all kind of, sodium, benzoate, you know, benzonic acid, calcium sulfate. It's all kind of preservative that they use. This is all the chemical. But if you can avoid it, you avoid it. But you pack it yourself, you don't. But it come with a manufacturing. When you buy the food from the jar, from something, they have to put preservative, to maintain the integrity of ingredients. It's different. So you can have natural, you can have the chemical. And every process that they do, drying, freezing, fermenting, pickling, curing, jam and jelly, can, condiment, they all use preservative. Otherwise, it will last for 2 or 3 days. So you have a preservative that will last you, 4 or 5 days, a week, a year, those kind of thing when they do manufacturing. So they have to put something in that where it's in the shelf life should be longer than 1 year. Those kind of things. That's why the FDA make them specify how long this product will last. Those kind of thing. Then they have to do the engineering, blah, 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 and write it down. Otherwise, you don't pass the FDA. So if you don't pass it, you cannot sell it. So anyway, but people got a way around it. They can sell it, perishable products, but it lasts 2 weeks. That kind of thing. Anyway, natural preservative, chemical preservative, your choice. So the next section is going to be medicinal and beneficial and aspects of Thai food. We talk about taste, salty, sour, buttery, those kind of things. How it relate, how the taste relate to your body system. Because whatever you eat in there, if you go, the taste, it will dictate to where what it's for. What this kind of taste, what is the taste you put in the sugar, what sugar do, the sweet taste, what it does to your body. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next session. Okay, and this is what is upcoming. This is the presentation. The reason they're doing this because I'm going to do this cooking with Zoom, Zoom cooking. I have to educate you guys first to understand how aspect of Thai food, what is involved in Thai culinary. And then when you do the dish, a minute they talk about something, you understand that you can relate it. You can go back and see the video to where what I'm talking about. It makes sense or not make sense to you. Because when I do my cooking class, every class I give a presentation on aspect of Thai food, but it is shorter version. But in this video series, it's a long version, it's a full version that you understand pretty well how things put it together. Okay, it's not complicated; it's easy. And then if you want more information, you go to thaiessence.com. And when you go to my page, just go into the under cooking tab, so you see all this kind of cooking. If you see the other tab, you will see one other tab is traveling. So that's another one. I travel, I wrote story. It's a lot of things fun. If you read to it, you learn a lot more because how do I deal with all the difficulty when you travel alone by yourself. And you travel 3 countries at once and take about 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, 2 months, month and a half, or 3 months, it depends on the kind of trip. Because I go from, I take the bus, take the plane, boat, wherever is necessary. So I do all the public things. And then to really mingle with the local, understand the culture, eat their food, talk to them, because usually I use my Spanish to talk to go. Now I got Spanish and English. It's a pretty good to have to do traveling around the world. So you might have fun on that. So this is something about me you missed. I'm going to take this video, something about me if you missed, who I am, or you want to know more. This is a short version of, okay? And I could let it run, and then I will go first and keep on going. All right. If this is if useful, if this information useful, just leave me some note, underneath on YouTube. You can leave. You can leave some note for me, or Facebook. You can go there. Just leave the note and ask question, whatever you want to know. So I will respond to you. And then if you're looking for some instructors, you want to talk, I can set it up with you, whatever you do online or whatever. Then you have the group of people you really want to do. We set it up with that too, because I do a lot of catering. But right now we're gonna do group hand on hand, like mingle with people. That's the Zoom gonna coming in, so we can have a gang of your group. And then what you do, you pick the ingredient, pick the dish, what we wanted to do, and then I suggest you what to do. And then this way you learn. You can learn a whole bunch of people, all at once, and everybody get the same information. Like you socialize, you drink it at home, you cook it at home, and I teach you how to do it. So this is going to be fun. I guarantee it. So, okay, here it is, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next presentation ขอบคุณครับ Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully, this video enticed you. If it did, please share. You can follow us at thaiessence.com, THAIESSENCE.com, or on the Facebook at Kunpan, KHUNPHANT, at Kunpan on the Facebook. And the YouTube, Classical Thai Cooking by Chef Pan. See you on the next video. Have a pleasant day. Until then, ขอบคุณครับ